Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The ball's coming.
Oh my God, stop it. Okay. I already took one for the team here. Everybody, I had to listen to this, I don't know, recounting of the soccer match. Bottom line, 45 minutes later, England won. Okay. I went down like the genealogy of somebody who's playing on today's team all the way back to like the 1800s. You're welcome.
It was on the Danish team.
Whatever. I stopped listening because it just kept going. Bottom line, England won. Thank you very much. You're welcome. I took one. We're getting into the funding deals. The July 9th episode of Health in 2.0.
But just we just got to the final. We haven't won the whole thing.
I understand. I asked. I said, how did the Sockers go? Because, I'm ignoring you on Twitter completely now. But your knowledge of football is so impressive. It really is. I mean, you go way back. It's like asking you about like a health tech deal. Like truly, like you go all the way back to like they raised their first $50 from so-and-so, who then founded this, who then went to that, who then pitched at Health 2.0 back in 2008. I was wearing my mustard shirt on stage. It was incredible. And then right after that, I went out and had a conversation in the lobby with so-and-so and Glenn Tolman. Like, it's amazing, like the things you remember with such clarity and detail.
Well, yeah, I go further back in soccer. I can tell you about 1972. All right. Shouldn't you be telling us about the first 6 months of the year?
We should be talking about the first 6 months of the year because the funding reports are out. And as usual, they're separated by their $7 billion as they should be. So Rock Health is saying 14.7 for the first half of this year. Startup Health is saying 20.1. And fun fact, those numbers are pretty much what the numbers were for all of 2020.
Yeah, so about a double, right? So I mean, Rock Health was slightly below that, and Startup Health was slightly above 21 something for the year. Rock Health was 14 something for the year, but
14.1 in 2020 versus 14.7 for the first half of 21 for Rock Health, and Startup Health 21.6 for last year versus 20.1 for the first half of this year.
So basically, as you'd see from the deals that we've had with all the Tiger Global coming in and the stock, and by the way, this doesn't count, right? All the money in the pipe deals, the SPAC deals, and the IPOs, which is going into money-losing companies, which is basically everybody apart from Doximity, as far as I can see. So, there is even more money coming in. And obviously, the other thing, we'll see it in a couple of deals we have coming up today, is the private equity groups. I mean, Tiger is obviously one of them, who are basically spending money not the way that venture capitalists used to do, where they carefully, inculcate and work on the team and all the rest of it. They just like, these guys are just throwing the money in and treating it like a, treating it like a stock deal.
All right, so the door and there's $100 billion like just standing there, like, hey, 100 mil for you.
Meanwhile, the other thing we should mention is not really a deal, but Amazon apparently is now trying to get insurers to cover it, which is for Amazon Cares. Yeah, that's interesting. There was some reporting on, is it Blake Dodge?
Blake Dodge, and then the other woman is
Shelby Lively. Shelby Lively. I'm blanking her name. I will get her name right next time. Sorry, but from Business Insider found they found that Aetna and I think Amazon wanted to be covered in a value-based care deal, but the insurers are saying we'll only pay you fee for service. So it's kind of interesting because if they're going to make it, they're going to have to be. One assumes they're going to be a sort of value-based care medical group, a la Oak Street or whomever else. But if they're just another telehealth business doing fee for service, is it as much for the market to worry about? So that's we'll have to keep our eye on that. We'll play out.
We will definitely be keeping our eye on that. Are you ready to talk through these funding deals?
Yeah.
There's a lot of gossip to get through there for a second.
Yeah, come on. Here we go.
All right. No, you're paused. No. Oh, okay, 220 something episodes. One day we'll get it right.
Here we go.
Okay. Novacardia, they get $57 million. This is a cardiology practice management business. Tell me more.
So I think the guys at CEO is a guy called Dan Blumenthal, who's a Harvard doc. Was it Devoted, right? One of the startup, one of these startup Medicare Advantage plans with the Pot brothers. I think the goal here is to sort of build a cardiology practice management firm, a little bit like Aildade has done for primary care, where these guys can take risk and do bundle payment. And an attempt to like create value-based care infrastructure for specialty care. It's going to be tricky because that stuff usually doesn't work, and the way you usually make money in value-based care for specialty is by stopping using the specialists. But interesting. And again, this is Deerfield, which is a big private equity company, but that's an A round, 57 million, so a big number for an A round.
All right, one of the Wellthys, the one that ends in the THY, they get 35 million in a Series B, brings their total up to 50. Matthew Holt, what is the one that the THY does?
So this one is really interesting. This is a caregiving navigation and sort of concierge firm aimed at employers to try and get their employees to spend less time doing caregiving for their aged relatives and parents and the rest of it. Very cool female CEO called Lindsay Juris-Brosner. I think this is a pretty interesting play because I haven't seen too many other people doing exactly that.
All right, Osso VR, they get 27 million in a B. This is less than a year after they closed their A. GSR led this. Kaiser is in this. They led that A round before. Their total is at 43 million.
Yeah, this is virtual reality for practicing surgery. Apparently, the more you practice as a surgeon, the better you are. So they then sell this to, who knew? They then sell this to, they get subscriptions and funding from medical device manufacturers, surgical device manufacturers. Probably very cool. And I think, surgery is moving to practicing in VR from practicing on animals.
All right, what about Form Health? Excuse me. They get 12 million in a Series A. Their total's up to 16. This is an obesity telehealth clinic. What else do we know?
Yeah, that's about all I know too. But it's another niche play, right? So you get obese people like me, and people with higher BMIs as well, and you specialize in them. And don't forget, we've seen telehealth, subsections like sub segments of the population, like people with transsex. LBG, God, whatever it is, LGBTQ, but also for transsexuals and also for people with different slices of diabetes. Now you're getting more and more of these integrated clinics for other types of things. It's interesting. There's also a brand new diabetes drug coming out from which is going to be very expensive and injectable from Novo Nordisk in the next few weeks. Which so I mean, we know obesity is a really big problem. It's always a bit unclear to me if obesity itself is actually a problem without diabetes or without, there's questions about whether you can actually do anything about it or not. But I'd be interested to see how this plays out and whether, in the end, the big telehealth vendors end up with lots of sub-segments. A bit like 30 Medicine has all those different brand names for all these different drugs. I mean, so, a lot of experimentation here.
Yeah, we'll see. Interesting. It's interesting how this is starting to, it's like, it's bundled, it's unbundled, it's niche, it's
the bundling and unbundling happens at the same time. If you think about a supermarket, right, you go down the whatever aisle, the chips aisle, and there are like a million different types of chips. They're all made by one company, right? It's all made by Frito-Lay. And I think you'll probably end up, and most branding is, if you look at, there are like 6 companies to make all the food in America, even though there are a gazillion different types of brands. And I think you'll find that we may end up in that space as this starts to play out, because we know that one size doesn't fit all for people in retail, and one size doesn't fit all for healthcare.
Yes, you're a unique snowflake, Matthew Holt. You need your own.
I certainly am unique, just like everybody else.
Oh, that's good. Hey, early bird registration for our conference is closing here pretty soon on the 16th of July. So people, if you have not seen this lineup, we just dropped 2 new collections of speakers that have been added. The party's insane. I mean,
it's a great lineup. We have 2. Well, we have Jeff Arnold, who just went SPAC last week.
SPAC'd out last week.
From ShareCare. And then Babylon Health's Ali Parsa, who is planning to SPAC out soon. Everything's out. And that's just in the group of 16 or 12 we announced today. We've announced our first couple of policy folks. So yeah, it's starting to happen. You should start buying tickets.
Yes, go to the website. It's at whatsnexthealthcare.com, and you can check that out. See everybody who's speaking. There will be an agenda forthcoming. Can't wait to see what that looks like.
You'll find out quickly, because after this call, I'm going to force you.
All right, let's do it.
Let's
make sure that you never miss an episode of Health in 2.0. Please be sure to go over to the healthcareblog.com and sign up for the email newsletter over there to get these episodes and the content from the blog delivered directly into your inbox every weekend. Mr. Holt.
Mr. Massey, you've got to say follow us on Twitter. I'm Body Boy. She's Jess Massey.
I mean, I'm pimping out the conference. I can only do so much.
All right. Given you are a first generation Italian American, and I'm a 0th generation English American, who do you think's going to win on Sunday?
You're such a bigger football fan. I hope your team.
I just wonder.
I hope your team wins.
Well, that's very, very sweet of you. I think Italy will win, but we'll see.
All right. Well, good luck. I'm rooting for you.
And then after Sunday, I won't talk about soccer for about another 2 months. So it's all good.
All right. Well, I look forward to having you back on email, and I'll refollow you on Twitter. Okay. And on that note, we're leaving. We'll see you guys later. Bye.